Robert Redford is one of Hollywood's most enduring and respected figures, with a career spanning over 6 decades as an actor, director, producer, and environmental activist. Born on August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, California, Redford grew up to become not just a movie star but a cultural icon who reshaped independent cinema through his Sundance Institute. This comprehensive look at his life and career covers his early struggles, meteoric rise to fame, directorial achievements, and lasting legacy. Charles Robert Redford Jr. was born to Charles Robert Redford Sr., an accountant for Standard Oil, and Martha Woodruff Redford. His childhood in Van Nuys, California, was marked by a rebellious spirit and lack of interest in formal education, though he showed early talent in art and athletics. At Van Nuys High School, he was classmates with future baseball legend Don Drysdale and developed a passion for baseball that earned him a scholarship to the University of Colorado. Redford's college years were cut short due to excessive drinking that cost him his scholarship. This period of personal turmoil was compounded by the death of his mother in 1955. He then embarked on a formative year traveling through Europe, living in France, Spain, and Italy, where he attempted to pursue painting before realizing his limitations as an artist. Upon returning to the US, Redford studied art at Pratt Institute in Brooklyn before discovering acting at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City, graduating in 1959. This decision would alter the course of his life and American cinema. Redford's professional career began on Broadway with small roles in plays like Tall Story 1959 and The Highest Tree 1959. His big break came in 1963 when he starred opposite Elizabeth Ashley in Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park, a role that showcased his charm and comedic timing. Simultaneously, Redford built his resume with numerous television appearances in the early 1960s, guest starring on popular shows like Alfred Hitchcock Presents The Twilight Zone Route 66 and Perry Mason. His performance in The Voice of Charlie Pont, 1962, earned him an Emmy nomination, signaling his rising talent. Rise to film stardom, 1960s to 1970s. Redford's transition to film began with minor roles in movies like War Hunt, 1962. But his breakthrough came with the film adaptation of Barefoot in the Park, 1967, reuniting him with Jane Fonda. However, it was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969, that catapulted him to superstardom. Paired with Paul Newman, Redford's portrayal of the Sundance Kid created one of cinema's most iconic duos and established his screen persona as the intelligent, sardonic anti-hero. The 1970s marked Redford's peak as a box office draw. From 1973 to 1977, he dominated Hollywood with a string of successes including The Way We Were 1973 with Barbra Streisand, The Sting 1973, reuniting with Newman, which earned Redford his only Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, All the President's Men 1976, where he played journalist Bob Woodward in the Watergate scandal drama, The Great Gatsby 1974, as F. Scott Fitzgerald's iconic character. Redford became known for carefully selecting roles that avoided typecasting, turning down parts in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and The Graduate to maintain creative control over his image. Transition to directing and Sundance. In 1980, Redford surprised the industry by stepping behind the camera for Ordinary People, a family drama that won 4 Academy Awards including Best Picture and earned Redford the Oscar for Best Director. This began his second act as a filmmaker known for thoughtful, character-driven stories. Parallel to his creative work, Redford founded the Sundance Institute in 1981 to support independent filmmakers. What began as a small workshop evolved into the Sundance Film Festival, now the premier showcase for American independent cinema. This institution represents Redford's most enduring legacy, having launched countless careers and films that reshaped Hollywood. His subsequent directorial efforts included A River Runs Through It, 1992, Quiz Show, 1994, which earned him another Best Director nomination, The Horse Whisperer, 1998, which he also starred in, Later career and recent work. Even as he aged, Redford continued taking on challenging roles. Notable later performances include All Is Lost, 2013. A nearly wordless survival drama. Captain America, The Winter Soldier, 2014, as Alexander Pierce. The Old Man and the Gun, 2018, which he initially suggested might be his final acting role. Though he announced retirement in 2018, Redford later called this a mistake and made a surprise cameo in 2025's Dark Winds at age 88, proving his enduring connection to performing. Redford married Lola Van Wagen in 1958, with whom he had 4 children, Scott, who died of SIDS. Shauna, James, a filmmaker who died of cancer in 2020, and Amy, an actress. After their 1985 divorce, he married artist Sybil Saggers in 2009. Beyond entertainment, Redford has been a lifelong environmental activist, influenced by childhood experiences in nature. His political engagement includes supporting democratic causes and speaking out on conservation issues. With an Honorary Academy Award, 2002, Kennedy Center Honors, 2005, and Presidential Medal of Freedom, 2016, Redford's accolades reflect his multidimensional impact. More than just a handsome leading man, he became a steward of American storytelling who nurtured new voices while maintaining his own artistic integrity across 7 decades. At 88, Robert Redford's story continues to evolve. Much like the independent film movement he championed. From blonde Hollywood star to respected filmmaker and mentor. His journey represents the rare actor who successfully reinvented himself while changing the industry around him. The Sundance Kid may have been his breakout role, but his true